What's good YouTube? Giants fan 696 back here with a video today. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the South Park episode that predicted the future of the NFL. And that episode is no other than Sarcastable from season 16, I believe. So now, basically in this episode, kicks it off with Randy, Stan's dad, Stan, Cartman, Kyle, Stan, and Butters. They're watching a football game. They're just watching I believe it's a Broncos game. They're just watching normal football game, and they see a big hit on a kickoff. And then one of the boys mentioned that they got rid of kickoffs in their school football team, right? That they're playing at school. So then Randy goes on this whole thing where he's at like the board meeting. He's saying like, why did they get rid of kickoffs? And they said, why don't we just have them all wear bras, tinfoil hats, and use a balloon instead of a ball, and one player has the balloon, and while he just walks down and compliments everyone else while they hug. Basically being sarcastic, saying if you're going to get rid of kickoffs, why not get rid of the whole thing pretty much. But what he didn't expect is that the board thought this was a great idea, being, Principal Victoria and Counselor Mackey. They end up liking this idea and they make him the coach then of the Sarcastable team. So Randy being sarcastic through the whole episode. He's now the coach of the team. He's coaching, the high school team, and eventually it ends up that the NFL picks this up. Roger Goodell. He so the NFL then basically becomes a Sarcastable league, and then Randy becomes the head coach of the Denver Broncos. Again, they're playing this same exact game. There's also like a weird side story going on with Butters and his creamy goo. I'll let you guys figure that out. But he ends up selling that to people, and they end up, or not selling it to people, ends up just giving it to his teammates to make them better at Sarcastable, because Butters is like the all-star of this sport, since it's all about just being nice and kind. Believe it was Cartman who went over to his house asking for tips on how to be good at Sarcastable, and he gave him some of his creamy goo. But anyway, we're not really worried about that part of the conversation or the episode. We're kind of focusing on the football aspect. So it then later turned out in the episode where Randy couldn't stop being sarcastic, so they took him to the doctor, and found out that he's been so sarcastic that he now has brain damage. So that's just kind of the irony of it, because it kicks off. You see players with brain damage in the beginning when they bring the old players onto the field in the beginning when they're watching a Broncos game, and you can see the players have brain damage, and Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, is saying, we're trying to see if there's a direct correlation between brain damage and football. But now Randy has brain damage from just being sarcastic. So that was kind of irony in the episode. But overall, the aspect of this episode we're going to focus on is the football aspect. So obviously we're not at the point yet in the NFL where players are wearing bras and tinfoil hats. But this episode was definitely from at least a few years ago at this point. And honestly, in the NFL, there basically isn't much of a kickoff anymore. They're the classic kickoff everyone's used to. That's not a thing anymore. They now start stationary, both sides. And now there's this landing area where you could return it, but then there's areas you can't return it. And they just made it I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it safer, but they've gone too far where it's not even really a normal kickoff anymore. If you watch today's NFL kickoff versus a kickoff from even just say 3 years ago or 2 years ago, you'll see two completely different things. It's getting to the point now where they're getting too worried about this whole safety protocol. I think even the players, they signed up to play football, they should know what they're getting themselves into. And it's not even just the kickoff. Like I said, if you watch today's kickoff versus the kickoff from a couple of years ago, it's night and day. But even we're banning certain types of tackles now. I believe it was 2024 they banned a hip drop tackle, which is something you've been able to do forever. I don't know why we're banning that. And even just other rules in general. I mean, you could barely even touch a quarterback nowadays, which just sounds crazy. I mean, even it's gotten to a point where you've seen guys like Mahomes, he's even thrown in fake slides to even get more yards just because of how protected quarterbacks are. Because you don't even, if it looks like a quarterback's going to slide, you don't even want to be anywhere near him, because there's going to be an unnecessary roughness or some other flag they're going to throw for. It's going to be a penalty every time. So it's just certain stuff like that. And then not even so much safety stuff, just dumb rule. I think forward progress has always been a stupid rule. If you get pushed back, it should be where you end up, not if you've made forward progress. To me, I've never liked that rule. But yeah, it's just been even head-to-head contact. I get what they're doing with head-to-head contact. They're trying to minimize brain injury, and I get that, but like I was a lineman, for instance, and head-to-head contact, I mean, that was just, it's not even always intentional, and it's just like part of the game. Like it happened, like sometimes your helmet makes contact with someone else's helmet, but now it's gotten to a point where they got to be so careful to not get a flag that it's getting kind of ridiculous. It's like to the point, and I feel honestly feels so much worse for the defenses, because you know they're the ones initiating the contact most of the time. It's like they got to ask a guy if they're ready for them to hit them before they actually hit them, which is ridiculous. Honestly, I haven't been watching too much of the NFL nowadays just because of how protected it is. It's like the refs have such a huge portion in the game now where it didn't always used to be that way. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm seeing it. Sarcasaball is coming more true every year. I'm sure this year after the season, probably going to enact some more rule changes that just protect players even more, which, I don't know, they have to find the right balance, because right now, I get that they want to keep football safer, and obviously with modern technology, you could figure out ways to do that, and you're seeing studies, or they're being given studies of different injuries caused in football, but you have to also understand that players signed up to play football, and the whole game shouldn't be changed because of that. I mean, the players are still getting paid millions of dollars to play football. It shouldn't be getting watered down this much to the point where a kickoff today, like, good luck explaining to like an 80 or someone, an old guy, someone who's been watching football since like, you know, the 90s or something, the new kickoff rules today. It just doesn't even make sense. They're just kind of driving away a huge part of their audience, even doing stuff like this. So again, this is just my 2 cents. I think Sarcasaball is becoming more true every year. So anyway, that's my breakdown to Sarcasaball episode of South Park. A little recap and kind of how I think it relates to the NFL today is getting more true. Because the whole reason Sarcasaball started in this episode is because I think it was Stan told Randy that they're not even doing kickoffs. And damn near not even doing kickoffs in the NFL anymore at this point. So it's pretty much coming true. So let me know down below if you agree with my take on how Sarcasaball is becoming more true to the NFL. Or if you disagree, let me know. I'll respond to you guys down below. Please like and comment, subscribe to the video, and let me know down below if there's more episodes you guys would kind of like to see me break down to how it relates to the real world today. And if so, maybe if you could give me some specific recommendations, that'd be helpful too. So appreciate you guys tuning into this video, and I'm out.